Alright, back on track. See where this is going to take us. This goes out to the ocean. I've been out here one at a time. So I got a couple hours to kill, and I'm not sitting inside killing them. I believe that's part of the Squamish River right there. Oh, this road's a real prize. Pothole city. Anyway, there we go. There's a river out there, Squamish River. Alright, it's gonna be Pothole City. Yeah. Alright, enough of this. You got the idea. I don't know what that is, but it's making a bunch of splashes, that's for sure. Seagull there, so it's probably something eating something. Probably a seal eating chum salmon. Or it just gobbled one up anyway. I would guess that's what just went down. And he's done now. Oh, yep, it's seals. There's two of them wrestling over a salmon for sure, probably chum salmon. Huh. Easy pickings. Clear water in a river, and the seals just come up and gobble them up. Oh, there's another one, third one. Huh. Freshwater seals. Looking straight towards the Squamish is the city, the town, whatever you want to call it. It's right behind those trees. There's the camera with my McDonald's napkins on top of it. Unloading a container ship or loading it with something right there. Probably lumber, who knows. Squamish River. And freshwater estuary. Chum salmon in there. And seals are hammering on the fish in there right now. And here we are. The chainsaw stopped. It still is not really raining too much right now. All hell's probably coming. The seals are just hammering on the chum salmon behind me. See, maybe the video caught some of the action, I don't know. But well, let's see what else we got in here. Hello, Steve. I enjoy your channel. I've been listening to your channel for quite a while now. I'll get straight to the point. I've had a ton of strange experiences of the supernatural in my and my family's life growing up. I have an open mind, and when I started to experience some stuff around the house where I live, I knew it was not your normal critter out in the woods. I live in the woods in Middle Tennessee. The woods are very thick here. I've been outdoors all my life, not hunting, but doing other things. It all started with me back in 2008 or so, when I could smell a very strong odor as I walked to my little creek and back for exercise. The odor was something I've never been able to pinpoint. It would be very strong and linger in the air a bit, then go away. It would happen again in a different area. I often thought it was some kind of weird fungus growing that I could never pinpoint. This would happen every spring, continue until late summer and early fall. During this time frame, I would hear what sounded like someone walking in the woods late at night. It was on my neighbor's land behind her home. The woods are so dense, I would not see any flashlight accompanying these footsteps out in the woods where the sound was coming from. I thought to myself, how in the world is someone walking through this stuff without a flashlight? This would be about 1 a.m. at night on the weekends when I would stay up late. A few weeks later, the same thing happened. Large bipedal footsteps, but this time it sounded much closer and on my land. So I walked real quiet-like as I went to the back fence near the edge of my property, and then I hollered out as loud as I could, "Hey, and whatever it was just stopped for about 5 seconds and started walking away again deeper in the woods. I have a pretty deep voice and I can holler out pretty loud. If that was a person to me, someone would have shouted something like, "Hey, don't shoot," or "Hey, it's me, your neighbor. I'm just out walking," or whatever. But nothing was said at all. It gave me the chills. Actually, I went back inside of my house. I found that very strange. Then on Memorial Day, 2010, I scared something off that sounded as if it was trying to break a tree limb or something. I was working on my HVAC, and I heard what sounded like a tree fixing to fall. The noises of wood crackling and snapping, but nothing was happening. I turned around and I said, "Is that tree gonna fall or what?" And then I hear something land or jump down. It went boom and took off. Something very large. I only got a glimpse of black through the brush and bushes as this thing took off through the woods, very fast, going down towards the little creek that borders the land. But when this thing was running through the woods, it sounded like 60 miles per hour bulldozer running by pedal. There was brush swaying, limbs cracking, and branches busting and snapping, all the while as this thing was huffing and grunting as if it was running deeper and deeper into the woods. I was shocked, and I did not know what to think. I sat there for about 20 minutes dumbfounded at what just happened. About a week later, at 11 p.m. at night, I was surfing the internet. My dog started to bark and I would not shut up. I would open the door and holler out for him to shut up. He would stop and I'd go back in. We have a fenced-in backyard that my dog, which was an English pointer, would stay in. He continued to bark and I finally opened the door and turned on the floodlights. He was at the back of the fence standing and looking up while barking and wagging his tail. Right when I turned on the lights, 2 tree limbs, which are about 7 feet off the ground, swung back together like they were being held apart as if something was trying to get a better look right where my dog was standing. I was kind of bewildered at that, and I decided to grab the dog leash and bring him inside of the house. As I was walking back out to get my dog, he was down in the area of where this thing ran off from me while I was working on my HVAC a week earlier. Although my dog was still inside the fence, as I got closer to him, I am then overwhelmed with that weird odor I've always got a whiff of. This time it was so strong, I started to dry heave and my eyes were watering. I knew then it was a Sasquatch from the descriptions of what has happened to others I've read about. To me, the odor was the strongest animal musk you ever encountered, mixed with the wet dog and stale, dirty, stagnant swamp water. Is the only way I can describe it. It scared the hell out of me at first. However, over time, I came to learn more about it, and then by my own research. I have a ton of experiences. I could write a book on the things that have happened to me and to people I know around where I live. I'll sum it up with this. These things are out there, and they have been here a long time. I've had the feeling of being watched a lot, the foul odor, and also the tree knocking before I knew what was causing it. I always thought these things lived up in the Pacific Northwest or Canada and was not elsewhere in the US. I've learned a lot about them in the last 10 years now. If they wanted to get me or harm me, or my wife or the pets I own in any way, they could have done so many times, but they have not. I was buying large caliber rifles, stocking up on them and ammo, and having no less than my 40 caliber pistol at my side, my 30-30 deer rifle and an AR-15 with a 30 round mag within arm's reach just to do yard work. No doubt. I'm not saying there are not bad Sasquatches out there. I know many have terrible experiences, but for the hunters or outdoors person that is scared to go back into the woods because they saw one or knew one was nearby, get out there again and start enjoying life once more. Let's face it, if this thing wanted to get you or harm you, it would have done so before you or your family would know what happened to you. I no longer even take a pistol to go exercise down to the creek and back anymore. This thing knows where I live and knows my habits. I think they're more curious about me than I am them now. I know it is more than one. I have saw footprints that range from 5 inches long and longer. The creatures I've saw are large and black, but not as large as the 8 foot plus I've heard others encounter. These are not as bulky built either, at least not the ones I've seen. However, that one that ran off from me that day I was working on my HVAC had to have been one large son of a bitch due to the pounding of the footsteps every time one landed as it was running through the woods. I still hear the occasional tree knocking footsteps out in the woods. The last time it happened, I walked out in the backyard and I heard a loud single knock, like a baseball bat cracked by a bat sound. I hollered out to them or it, "Yeah, I know you're there too." After that happened, all the experience became fewer and fewer, almost nothing now. These things do not like clear open areas. Since 2010, I've cleared away all the small trees and underbrush near my home and any other foliage that something could hide in. Now my land looks like a state park in some areas. Once I started doing this, the Sasquatch stayed further and further away from my house and out into the woods. I've cleared so much away from my land they hardly ever come around here anymore. The last time I saw one, I was back in 2017 or 18. I was getting something out of my shed. I looked up and about 60 yards away in the woods was an oblong black ball shape on the side of a tree trunk. I was like, what the hell is that? It was about 6.5 feet up the tree trunk. I was trying to figure out what it was, as I've never seen anything like that before. So I started walking toward it, and that's when I started to see detail. I saw the eyebrow ridge, eyes, black hair all around the face, and dark gray skin. Thin lips and a forehead that swept up and back. I was looking into the face of a Sasquatch as it was peering around the side of the tree at me. It reminded me a little of how silverback gorillas look in the face, but not as ape-like. Once I got close enough to see all that detail, I stopped in my tracks. Part of me wanted to continue walking toward it and get a real good look at the thing. I was only 50 yards from it, but I thought to myself, this thing could rip me limb from limb if I was to just run over to it. Instead, I just watched it move back behind the trunk of the tree. When this experience happened, it was like somehow they knew I am aware of them and they have been around my property less and less. It is almost like the game is over for them. They are smart and they'll observe you when you have no idea of it. When you think your dog is barking at nothing during the middle of the night, your dog is trying to tell you something, so pay attention. I have found large rocks that appeared overnight in my backyard that were not there the day before. I think they would throw rocks at my dog at night. Some were larger than a grapefruit. I think if they're going to chuck rocks at your dogs at night, they'd kill it. So I guess they're just messing around. Even your house cats can let you know something's there. One day, after working outside, I was on my way back to the house and noticed 4 of my cats all staring in the same direction into the woods. They all had their tails bushed out and hairs up and all their back. I looked and I could not see anything, but they sure could see it. Anyway, Steve, I like your no nonsense and straight to the point, tell it how it is attitude. If you get to read my email or not, enjoy your channel very much. Keep up the good work, Tim. All right, Tim. Thanks for that detailed email, man. And I hope from what you just shared, obviously clearing out all the cover in the timber around your house worked for you, right? I guess if there's other people out there that are watching all these emails and trying to learn for yourself, maybe you're dealing with a bunch of bullshit going on around your property, maybe you want to try that too, right? But it's funny, because when I think about that, when I think about the lack of cover, that brings down the experiences, well then I also as well, I think back to a lot of the prairie experiences and the armed forces military based experiences where the cover just didn't make a difference, and now they did the fences. These things are still peering into the cameras, the security cameras, so who knows, right? But I'll tell you what, if you live rurally and you're having problems with these things in your property, what's it gonna hurt? Clear out all the cover. Do it. Just clear the cover out. It's better than selling your place, right? Maybe that'll work. I don't know. I haven't had any problems where I live ever yet. Well, no, not really. I'm good, but anyway, I'm gonna have to charge up my phone. This battery's getting sucked to a ride in this cold weather. And maybe I'll go up the road a little farther and see what we can see up there. Maybe there's some animals and more wildlife, and get away from some of these background sounds of the shipping container, trucks getting loaded up, all the noise. I hate background sound, hate it. But anyway, here you go, there's another one. Be safe out there, everybody.